What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Garage Talk episode and First to Garage, and we're excited to be coming at you with a new and exciting series featuring the Tacoma right behind us. You can kind of already get a teaser. So, Abby, you want to tell us what's going on behind us?
Yeah, so we finally took ownership of our LonePeak. It was order 4740. Picked it up October 21st, so a little over 2 weeks ago now. Drove over to Wenatchee, made a day trip out of it, and yeah, so here we are now with the LonePeak. A little sneak peek, but we already kind of started tinkering with it, as you can tell. It took no time. We already watched pretty much all the YouTube videos about LonePeak and what people were doing, and so we had a good idea kind of what I wanted to do. For the most part, we've just been kind of winging it, and it's seemed to work out, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, so no, just slowly kind of putting things together and making it my own with inspiration from videos and what other people are doing. So stay for a little bit. Join us on this trip, and like I said, we'll kind of learn as we go, and kind of customize things here and there, add and delete things. So
no, and that was a big not only because of like our YouTube channel in general, but that's also a big reason why we wanted to do this build out, was because it seems like there was kind of a void in the market of build out videos. Of, I know, like when you guys were looking at building out, like, yeah, you had some, and you could gather ideas from other YouTubers, but there was really no like how to, step by step on how to install some of this stuff. So I know that was one thing when you were talking about getting it, I was like, hey, let's build a series out of this and educate other people that are either on the fence about getting a LonePeak, or who have a LonePeak and don't really know where to start on the build out process. And so hopefully this series is a resource for all of you guys at home, and we'll help you guys hopefully make that decision, or give you ideas on what you can do with your truck bed camper, whether it's a LonePeak or another brand. The beauty of this is some of the stuff can be transitioned to any other canopy tent out there, but LonePeak, that's a superior product in my opinion. But after seeing a couple different ones,
not a biased answer.
Yeah, we're definitely not biased at all. Okay, so as we're kind of diving into this, what, because before you had a roof rack and a canopy and a rooftop tent, so what was the big driving force in making the jump from a rooftop tent into this more, I guess, permanent setup?
Mm-hmm. So I started just like everybody else, ground tent camping a long time ago, and then got into the whole overlanding kind of scene, and then I started off with 2 bed bars and a soft cover tent, which was nice. It was a good starting point, just a good intro of how everything works, and like not even that, but just figuring out like where to camp. I think that was the biggest stepping stone for me, and kind of experimenting and figuring out all these spots. So then I went to a fiberglass.
Big baller with the carbon fiber.
Fiberglass topper with rails on top, and then I went into a roof nest Condor XL. So I had that for a little bit, and that one was really, really nice, just the space. But I was kind of craving a little bit more, and like the more and more I watched YouTube, the more these kind of toppers started popping up, and that's actually how I ran into LonePeak. I think it was like on like an Instagram ad or an Instagram reel or something like that, where they were taking pre-orders. And of course, just with like any pre-order thing, right, you're a little skeptical at first, and with that comes a little bit of flaws and just like the whole experimental phase, right? And so I was like, I'm not going to put in an order quite yet, just to learn more about it, figure out what it is and how it works. And so kind of held off for a little bit, and eventually told myself I was going to get it as a graduation present. And so finally did it, put an order in right before they changed the website to the V2, which was kind of crazy. It was perfect timing. So we got that email that everybody who placed an order before the website change was going to be upgraded to a V2 for free. And geez, I was excited like a little kid with candy.
Like Christmas morning.
So that was super cool. And soon after that is when I got my phone call from Keisha to confirm everything, and here we are now, sitting in the driveway. So it's kind of crazy. It went by so fast, but at the same time, in the moment, I think it felt really, really slow, just because of the anticipation.
I would say those first couple months drug by, but yeah, it seemed like once you got the email and then the call, it just time's been flying ever since. Even since you got it, it's just been seems like a blink of an eye. So someone, I mean, why LonePeak? I mean, there's so many other brands out there. You've got, you know, LonePeak, you've got Super Pacific, you've got IUCAB, GFC, all these other brands. What specifically made you pick LonePeak?
So to start off, it was just like a lot of people, the price, it was quite a bit cheaper than most other campers. And so that was definitely a huge plus, right? If I can save a little bit of money here, it's just gonna go somewhere else though, but
Into the build.
into the inside of the build, yeah. So that was kind of the big thing too with that. And along with that too, just the extrusion part is one thing that attracted me a lot. I love to tinker with things and add things and customize it kind of my own way, get inspirations from a bunch of different places and then just kind of make it my own. So with the extrusions, the first thing that came to mind was just mounting the heck out of things on it. And so that was kind of a little bit in the back of my mind too, is just customization wise, just like all the things that I could do with it. And the big thing too would be the bed platform. So with the LonePeak, you've got I believe it's 30 inches of pass-through space constantly, so you don't have to move any panels or figure things out and move things around to get up there. You can just jump in and get straight on the bed. And at the same time too, with the bed, if you're not using it, you can just push it about a foot or so, and then the gas struts take over and it pushes the bed all the way up to the roof line. And so now you have all this space to stand up. With the dimensions of the LonePeak, even if I stand at the front of the bed, I still had a few inches above my head, which was super nice, where you didn't have to crouch or anything just because it is a wedge. And going along with the wedge too, even though it's like a wedge tent, that little pop out that extends out towards the tailgate, just huge difference of the amount of space. I don't think it really necessarily adds a ton of space, but just the feel of it and the look of it is game changer compared to just like a regular wedge tent without that little pop-up. So I mean, those were just kind of the big things to guide me over to LonePeak. And on top of that too, it's here locally, so that was super cool, and something I was definitely behind Kyle's idea and staying local.
No, and I definitely, like to the point that you made with that extra little pop out there on the back, you know, instead of the wedge. You know, that's something that when I made the jump from my old tent to the one I have now, same thing. My new one has that extra bump out, and yeah, that doesn't add a ton of square feet, but just having that extra like headspace and where it makes it feel bigger, it's so much nicer, for sure. What? Well, I was gonna ask what some of the first upgrades and accessories you're gonna make, but I guess we'll save that for the series.
Yeah.
But okay, so out of all of the add-ons, features that LonePeak has, what was the one thing, like when you were building out your camper on the website, what was like the one thing you're like, I need to have, like I've got to have this in the tent? You know, what was there, like one feature that stood out? Because I mean, I know we didn't add a ton in online, but was there something in particular?
Yeah, no, actually with mine, I kind of kept it pretty basic. I mean, I had some molly panels, the awning mount on the side. I actually went with 3, the grab handles. So there was a few things that I kind of got, but I think that everybody gets. But I think with mine, I went pretty basic. I kind of kept it almost pretty stock. And then the molly panels too, which were pretty nice to mount things on. Shovel's finally mounted, so I'm a real overlander now. I never was before. It was never mounted. It was just in the bag. But
so then having gone through the whole from seeing the ads on social media and getting that initial idea to now it's parked in the driveway and basically almost built out at this point, what advice would you give to someone who is considering making the jump? Because I know we've had people reach out to us already through Instagram who have seen like the teasers and all that. What is something that you would recommend or advice that you have to someone that's considering it but is kind of on the fence still?
Yeah, honestly, I'd say just do it. Too, along with that is, like I said, I've pretty much watched every YouTube video there is about LonePeak on YouTube, whether that was from LonePeak uploading or people that bought one uploading, and even not necessarily just LonePeak, but just toppers in general, right? There's a lot of similarities in all of these. And so when it comes to like building the interior, just figuring out what you want, right? For some people, maybe a Go Fast is going to be better suited for them, right? Or like a Super Pacific, something like that. So there's a bunch of different things. Just kind of do your research and watch a bunch of videos, like I said. Figure out what people are doing and what they like and what they don't like. But at the end of the day, right, it's going to be your own build and your own truck, and you're going to make it how you want it. And so that's the big thing too, is just like don't get carried away by what everybody says. I think just kind of see what your needs are and what you want in a tent. Yeah. And then at that point, just once you get one, you can just start customizing and figuring out what you want. So.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to change gears a little bit here, kind of get away from like the build out process. What just kind of give some teasers out here to everyone watching. What types of trips are you looking for? Now that you have an actual living space, what types of trips are you looking forward to? I mean, weekend warrior stuff, but what's on the bucket list for the LonePeak?
Yeah, so on top of just like like your general weekend trips, right, a day or two, with being able to take some time off eventually down the road and take like a week or two at a time. It's definitely something that kind of inspired this whole setup too, is being able to go on like a week-long trip to, whether that's like the national parks in California or like one of our trips that is kind of on the bucket list is like a Grand Tetons and Yosemite and all that stuff, going down to Utah, right? I've heard Colorado is super fun. So being able to do these 2 week-long trips in a setup like this is something that's I'm looking forward to, right? We've got the fridge, we've got plenty of power now. We're gonna get a water tank in there with the sink up top. So everything we'll need for a few days, a week, maybe even 2 weeks, is kind of what was the inspiration, right? So being able to be pretty comfortable for a week or 2 week long trip is going to make weekend trips even more comfortable and nicer. So, and then winter months too, having that diesel heater is going to be a big part of it, where you can stand up and change in the back of the truck, right?
In a 70-degree environment.
Yeah, when it's snowing outside. So I think that's kind of what we're looking forward to.
No, that's awesome. Okay, so then as we start to unveil this new series, the build out, what is something that viewers can expect from the initial series of the build out, and then maybe we'll hint at something else that we're working on too after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so with the build out, like I said, I've been kind of winging it. I've got a lot of inspiration before. I wish I had my drawing with me of like what the interior was going to look like, because that was pretty funny. I think it's pretty close, but I've just been kind of winging it and learning as I go. So it's been kind of tricky to do like a step-by-step tutorial on all this stuff, but I feel like it's more of like hey, this is kind of what I'm doing. And then hopefully watching those videos and some other videos in combination, you can kind of come up with your own idea. So I think that's kind of the cool part about all of this whole setup and all these campers. And they're so different in some aspects, but in a totally different one, they're completely different. So being able to take a little bit of kind of what I've been doing and what somebody else is doing and kind of mashing those together and figuring out what you want to do. I think that's kind of my end goal for these videos. Like I said, it's been kind of tricky to do like a step-by-step, and especially when it's just me and trying to move the camera around, but at the same time try to remember all the measurements, and so that's been a little bit tricky. So hopefully just the inspiration of it, I think, is what I want to put out there, and hopefully it'll inspire somebody to maybe, one, buy a tent, two, if you already have one and have been putting off building the interior, maybe this will kind of inspire you too. Or if you already have something down, change it a little bit. Or
No, and that's man, that's been the funny part about all this is, like, last night our buddy Eric was over here helping with some stuff, and we're mid build out, and he's like, oh, you could do this, oh, hey, you could move this extrusion and do this. And so it's been funny to see that, and now actually too, I mean, hopefully maybe we can be that for you guys. And then, okay, so kind of wrapping up here a little bit, where can people find information on LonePeak? So obviously, LonePeak's website. The video series that we'll do, we will have a page dedicated to that on our website, firstdooverland.com. That'll be under the Project LonePeak on the website. And there also too, we will have a link to where you can get how much off?
Geez. By the time this video comes out, it's $250 off of your camper setup. So a little something. So it's about half of an accessory. Yeah. But
little something to help with that. And then also too, something that we're still in the early stages. We're actually going to be talking about this as a team, probably within the next week or so, but we're looking at doing in 2026 a LonePeak pop-up tour. And basically what the vision for that is something that we've seen a ton of on social media within the LonePeak Facebook groups, is those who are thinking about, they're on the fence about buying it and they want to see one in person before they, make that investment.
And there's not that many. There's not that many out there too.
And especially with the V2s now, there's not a ton of V2s out there. And there's not a ton on YouTube as well. In fact, I think this will probably be the first V2 on YouTube, I think.
I don't think I've seen.
So I don't think I've seen one aside from the one that Kyle has. And so that pop-up tour will serve as a educational, hands-on experience for those that are looking at purchasing a LonePeak. And the plan is to hopefully do it across the region, not just here locally where we're based out of. But we'll have more on that probably by the end of the year. So stick around for that. If you're on the fence, stick around. We'll have that for you. And then also too, if you have questions about it, feel free to shoot us a message on Instagram, or shoot us a comment on YouTube, and we can reach out to you and answer questions. But yeah, I mean, I think it's been a ton of fun watching this build out come to life, and we can't wait to share it with you. No idea how many episodes this series is going to be yet. We're still kind of putting that all together. But yeah, needless to say, enjoy the series. We'll put a link, referral link for LonePeak down in the bio. So if you're thinking about buying one, feel free to utilize the link. Helps you out, helps us out. And
and then going with that too is because I was on the fence for a little bit too about when to buy it, and I never got my hands on one to see and kind of mess around with until we did the LonePeak coin down in LB.
The scavenger hunt,
yeah. So Kyle was there with his V2, and it wasn't until then when I kind of started opening doors and seeing it all in person. I think that was the first time I've actually seen one in person, opened up and everything. And so I think that's kind of what did it for me too. And I was set in stone at that point, you could say. And so yeah, so feel free if anybody wants to check it out. If you have any questions, let us know. Like he said, we'll kind of try to get around to different places and on our trips, right? We're always doing some trips, and we always invite people, so feel free to tag along and check it out, ask questions. So you can see it in person and mess around with it too. And I think that is a big part of buying something too, right? So it's like buying a car online, right? You don't want to just purchase and pay for it until you actually see it in
And hope it
person.
works,
And
yeah.
yeah, so I think that's a good example of exactly pretty much what I did.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so we want to kind of push that forward.
Sweet. All right, well, with that, we're gonna get back to building this out. And yeah, if you're new here to the channel, remember, subscribe, hit that like button, smash that bell, and yeah, and
Oh, we need a little bell.
Yeah, a little desk bell. Yeah.
Smash the bell.
And yeah, we're excited to share this series with you guys, and yeah, we'll see you on the trail. All right, bye guys.
Bye.